Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic, and hopefully this is true, that this is a very approachable puzzle today. That's what we're hearing. Give it a try on that first link under the video. Now, if you are interested in watching other YouTubers interacting with us, Simon has posted a video of a solve with bismuth that he did a few days ago, and it's up on the channel from this morning, and it's a really interesting watch. Do give it a look. Watch someone keep Simon in order. That's a good plan. But anyway, that's the newest thing on the channel at the moment. We're trying a few of these collaborations with other big YouTubers just to see how it might pan out. Now, what else is going on? Of course, on Patreon, there's still time to try Are You My Mama, the Sudoku hunt. It's great fun. It's by the PBN Institute. It involves number sums puzzles, and it's available as a competition till the 20th. There's other videos there, including connections today and crossword videos from earlier in the month. Check it out. There's great stuff on Patreon. We've also, of course, got SVEN'S SUDOKU PAD and our merch on links under the video, and all of our apps, which feature Domino Sudoku and Killer Sudoku, and of course Fog of War Sudoku, the latest one, which is very popular. Lots of people have been enjoying that, just trying to put together the last few puzzles for the last update in it. Then maybe we're going to have to think about Fog of War 2, because it has been incredibly popular. So I know people are thirsting for more Fog of War puzzles. Today's is not. Today's is a debut from PB45, and it's called, I'm going to be careful here, Cracking the Cryptic. Now, you could put a differently more spoonerized vowel in for the hashtag here, but I'm sticking with Cracking the Cryptic, and I'm going to tell you the rules now. So, first of all, PB45 wrote to us and said they'd become obsessed recently with magic squares and noticed their entropic and modular properties, as well as everything else about them, which is really interesting. So there we go. There are magic squares featuring today. So the rules are, in fact, specifically normal Sudoku rules apply. 1 to 9 will go in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. 3 of the 3x3 boxes marked in the grid are magic squares, meaning that each row, column, and 3-cell diagonal sums to the same number. So if this was one of them, these rows would all sum to the same number. It would be the same number as these rows and these diagonals. Digits within a cage sum to the number shown, so those two add up to 6. A number outside the grid shows the total of all the cells on the indicated diagonal, so those add up to 28. They could include repeats. Digits separated by an X sum to 10, like those two. Digits separated by a V sum to 5. That's it. Give it a try. We'll see. I mean, the video length will tell you if I did find it approachable or not. Let's get cracking. Right. I mean, I could easily mark up 1, 2, 3, 4s in the V's, and then 6, 7, 8, 9 on the cells that don't touch V. But actually, I'm going to think about magic squares. Oh no, look, I've also got a 7 cage. That's clearly 1, 2, 4. But I am going to think about magic squares to get started. So some of the things I know about magic squares, I just know, but there are some very neat proofs. So first of all, we've got a secret about the sum of each box. Let's just look in box 3 to start with. If this was a magic square, we know that the sum of the box is 45. That is a secret that we share with our closest friends, but it's basically a factor of the, well, it's a function of the fact that the digits from 1 to 9 add up to 45, and they must appear in the box. So we could divide this into 3 rows. 45 divided by 3, they must all add up to 15. So that's the number we're looking for in every row, column, and box. Now, one of the digits goes in the central cell and takes part in 4 different 3-cell sums to 15. And that, in fact, has to be the number 5. And that will always go in the center of a magic square. It must do. And what's more, we then know that the pairs surrounding the 5 must be of equal parity to make the sum of each row and column and diagonal add up to 15. And that parity can't be 2 odds from the corners, because 1 or 9 would have to feature in a corner. Well, they both would. And 1 can only go with 2 other pairs to make up 15, 168 and 159. So it can't appear in a corner, which has 3 possible trios to make up. So basically, we learn that 5 will be in the middle, surrounded on its orthogonal sides by odd digits with even digits in the corners. Now, that is probably going to inform how we approach this puzzle, because surely we can rule out some cells. This one, for instance, cannot be 5 in the middle there, and this one, because of the pencil marking we've done already. So let's put pink on them to rule them out of bounds. These two are not two of the. Neither of them is amongst the magic squares, and we need to find 3. Oh, well, this one won't be as well, because that row adds up to 14, quite clearly. That row has to add up to 15 in a magic square. Now, because 5 is always in the middle of the magic square, we can't have more than one of them in these 3 boxes down the middle, because there can only be 1 5 in one of those cells. The same's true over here. So this now must be one of the magic squares up here. This is one of them. I'm going to make it yellow. This is now not one of them because it can't have 5 in the middle. The other 2 are either here and here, or here and here. And I'm just trying to work out if it's obvious which way round that'll go, or if we have to do it later. If it was here, that's 6 cage. Since this column would have to add to 15, that would be a 9. Ah, and I told you that 9s don't go in the corners, because 9 can't go, I did it for 1s, but 9 can't go with 2 other pairs to make 15. You'd have to have 1 6 pair there, another one there, and a third one there. And that's not feasible because there aren't 3 6 pairs. So this is not a magic square. And therefore these 2 are. And I mean, that's been fairly straightforward. If I had not been explaining it to you, I imagine I could have got this colouring done within about 30 seconds. As it is 4 minutes. So I can put the 5s in the centres. Now, we said that they are surrounded by odd numbers. Now, we can't put 1 9 in this column because of the 1 2 4 there. So that must be a 3 7 pair. That's a 1 9 pair. This one is odd, so it's 1 or 3, and this is its counterpart in making up 15, so it's 7 or 9. Right, the 1 9 pair is looking at this V, so that becomes a 2 3 pair. This one can't be 2 3, or there'd be too many 2 3s in the box. That's a 1 4 pair. This one is now a 6 or a 9, but it's looking at a 1 9 pair, so we'll write 6 in. I think we're justified in that. Now, this digit sees 4 and 1 in its row and a 3 in one of those in its box. So that's a 2. And now we are just flying through this puzzle at this point. There we go. Now we've got other magic squares to consider. I don't actually know about the odd digits around this one. However, I do know that 4, which has to be in a corner being an even digit, is in one of those 2 cells. And that's going to be opposite 6 in the other corner on the diagonal to make it add up to 15. Similarly, that 2 is going to be opposite 8. Then we can write in 6 and 4 based on that 4. Now we can just add these rows together and columns, and we've finished one of the magic squares entirely. We've got 4, 8 and 7 to place in the central row still. 4, 9, 2, 3, 7. We need a 1 in this column, and it's pretty clear it's there. These are a 5, 6, 8 triple. The middle one can't be 5. These are a 3, 7, 9 triple. Now, down here, this must now be a 2, 4 pair in this column because 1 has gone. We can fill in which way round they are thanks to this 4. We've got 3, 6 and 8 still to place in row 8. And what have, oh hang on, I've written the wrong digit in there. That was a 5, I mistyped it, sorry. So 6, 8 and 9 in these 3 cells, I think. Now, can we do any magic squaring here? Not really, because we haven't got, oh well, first of all I've got, I was going to say we haven't got any even digits looking down from the top. Actually, I can remove 7 from that one because of the 3, 7 pair. And this 4 must appear in the bottom row here. So 6, again, must be on the diagonal opposite, up there somewhere. Now, is it worth thinking about this cage, which doesn't have 3 or 4 in it? To make up 14, you've got to have a digit lower than 3 or 4 if you're not allowed to use them. You can't use 5, 6, 7, that's too much. But you can't use both 1 and 2, so we're going to use one of 1 or 2. You can't use both 1 and 2 because the third digit would have to be 11. Now, if we use 1, the other 2 digits add up to 13. Oh, in fact, we are going to use 1 by Sudoku. I can suddenly tell there is a 1 in the cage. So we're not going to use 2. So 2's down here somewhere. And that means in the magic square here, 2 is up here with a 6. And down here we have a 4, 8 pair. And between the 4 and 8, to add up to 15, that must be a 3. So this is a 7, and just check 2, 6, 7 add up to 15. Right, now I can sum the whole row. That must also add up to 45, like every box. We've got 15 there, 14 there, that's 29, plus 3 plus 4 is 36. This is a 9 to get us to 45. This one is a 6 because it's seeing the 4, 8 pair. So another box is complete. This trio is 2, 7, 9. We've got 8 removed out of those cells, so I can now fill in 3 and 6. This is now a 1, 5, 8 triple, I think. Now we've still got one magic square to do. That 3 is interesting. That means the odd digits to the north and south of the 5 are a 1, 9 pair. 3, 7 must be east, west. And look, that looks straight into that cell with the 3, 7 pair and makes it a 9. 6, 4, 2 and 8 are not clear to me here yet. And I'll tell you what I haven't used is the diagonals. There are little killer clues, we call them, these diagonal sums. And obviously, this yellow diagonal adds up to 15. That's basically a rule now. That's one of the magic squares. So these 3 add up to 23. I'm subtracting 15 from 38. There's only one way of making 23 with 3 different Sudoku digits, and that is 9, 8, 6. So we're getting a lot done here now, I think. That sees 3 and 5 in the column. That must be a 2. That box is just completely finished. And this is an 8. That must be a 2. It sees the 9, 7 pair. This one actually sees the 7 that we've just put in the box. And now we know there's a 4 in one of these. Oh, I was going to do adding up to 15, but I could just do Sudoku really, couldn't I? And make that a 4, 8 pair. And this must be a 2, 6 pair. 3, 5, 7. So along here we've got 1, 6 and 7. Here we've got 3, 5 and 9. The middle one must be a 9 because it sees 3 and 5 in the column. That 2 has fixed this, which is going to resolve this whole magic square finally. I've never used, oh no, I did use specifically that one. Let's look at this. This can't be a 6 because of the 8 sum, because we're not allowed to put a 2 there. So this is a 1, 7 pair in the 8 cage. 2, 9, 4. The 4 here sees that. That sees 1 and 6 down here. So suddenly this is all getting filled in. 7 there sees 3 and 7 goes in the corner. That 3 is not doing anything here. Okay, up this column we need 1, 2, 8. Not helpful. I was wondering if we were going to have to use this, and I think we probably are now. I'm just trying to see if there's another way to get this done. Oh, this is a naked single. This sees 72618 in the column, 359 in the row, so that must be a 4. That was quite interesting. This becomes a naked 6 in the same way. That's an 8, and we're left with a 1-2 pair in the row. This is 3 or 5. I think we are going to have to use that little killer clue. I'm literally just going to fill in the candidates first. Okay, those obviously add up to 15 because they're in the magic square, they have to. These now have to add up to 13, take away the 7. These two have to add up to 6, and you can see from the candidates and the fact that 4 is there that they must be a 1-5 pair. And I think we do need that to disambiguate the puzzle after all. That's not a 5 or an 8, so that's a 6. That's a 5. This is 2. That's 6. This is a 9. That sorts out 1 and 9. Now I can use the magic square properties, which I'd almost forgotten about. 4 and 8 there. 4 and 1 there. And let's just have a look at what PB45 was telling us about magic squares that I'm not sure I knew before. Well, I'm going to finish off actually. So there we go. That is the solution. When that comes up for you, it will say it's the solution. Right. So he said that these boxes have modular properties. 276, for instance, there. Yeah, that's very interesting. If you look at your numerical keypad and slice it either horizontally or vertically, you've got one representative from each set, one low and modulo 2 digit, one high and modulo 1 digit, one middly and modulo 3 digit. And the same is true for 438 and 951. And if we read across, 294, 753, 618 all have those properties. Okay, that's quite interesting. I didn't know that. If you actually look at the diagonals, I see that these are all in the same modulo. These are all in the same entropy set. Now, the other thing that's quite interesting is each of these magic squares, I think, will be a reflection and or rotation of another one. So here we have 8, 3. If I go round it, around the outside, it goes 8, 3, 4, 9, 2, 7, 6, 1. And if I start here, we go 8, 3, 4, 9, 2, 7, 6, 1. And if I start here, we go 8, 3, 4, 9, 2, 7, 6, 1. And obviously they all have 5 in the middle. I think that is a proof that there have to be, well, it's not a proof, but it's evidence that they have to be reflections and rotations of each other. And there we go, magic squares, 3x3 magic squares, very interesting. But they do give certainly a leg up into the solving of the puzzle, and that one wasn't too hard at all. So hopefully you've enjoyed an easier than usual puzzle on what PB45 is happy to call cricking the cryptic, but on what I would call cracking the cryptic today. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.